everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showcasing some leaderboard battles that were submitted to me by Cousin33, so huge shout out and a big thank you to him for submitting these battles. These feature Decidueye with Bravebird, which we don't see a lot of, so that's going to be really interesting. And also these battles take place between 3000 and 3100 elo, so you know these games are going to be really high level. The battler that submit these is really talented, and I know you guys are going to enjoy these battles. Also, it's nice to see a team that's a little bit different from the usual Jungle Cup meta that we're seeing, so if anyone wants something interesting to run, maybe give this team a try. You never know, you might do really well with it. Anyways, the team is going to be Skarmory on the lead with Shadow, Quagsire on the safe swap, and Decidueye in the back. Of course, it's going to have that Bravebird, as I mentioned earlier. And the Quagsire is going to be what is going to draw out the flyers. So the idea is to draw out the flyers with Quagsire, and then you can threaten with the Stone Edge to get shields from your opponent. He mentioned that the biggest core breaker for the team is Talonflame, so if you're seeing a lot of those, maybe don't run this. But anyways, let's get into these battles. I'm really excited to see these. Okay, up first, we are going to have an amazing lead. It is going to be Whimsicott into our Skarmory, and our opponent swaps into a Quagsire. So we have that Decidueye. Decidueye is going to wreck Quagsire. I wonder if we can live a Stone Edge. That actually didn't do too much to Decidueye. I was expecting it to do a lot more, but we're going to have that Bravebird. Does our opponent call it? They let it go. We one-shot. Oh, that sucks. Also, by the way, the person who submit these really likes Whimsicott, so I don't know how he felt about that, but must have felt good? I don't know. Anyways, it looks like they are going to have that Steelix in the back, and we have that Quagsire. Quagsire is absolutely going to wreck Steelix. Unfortunately, Steelix is going to be debuffing Quagsire. Wow, what a catch! Catching the psychic things on the Skarmory, and I think we can get it into Bravebird range, but our opponent goes ahead and top left. That was a really good game. Alright, up next, it looks like our opponent is going to have that Mandibuzz on the lead. Pretty neutral lead now. I guess we're just going to go for the Sky Attacks. I wonder if we go for the Bravebird on the second move, or if our opponent will call it. I don't know if we can get them Bravebird range. But our opponent swaps into a Steelix. Again, we have that Quagsire in the back, which is going to be a really nice answer to Steelix, going for those Aqua Tails. And we should be able... Oh, our opponent goes ahead and shields the first Aqua Tail. We should be able to reach another one. And let's see if our opponent lets it land. They let it land. Okay, now, this is going to get a little bit tricky. I think our opponent could Dragon Tail our Quagsire down if they shield this Aqua Tail, and Mandibuzz is going to be terrible for the Decidueye that we have in the back. But they let it go, and that's going to be really good for us. We are going to be able to take the switch. And they bring in a Vigoroth. Oh boy, we have the ultimate answer to Vigoroth in the back, but our opponent tries to snipe us with the Mandibuzz. They go for that aerial ace. We do shield it, but we bring in Skarmory before the Mandibuzz can throw another move on our Decidueye, saving our Decidueye in the back for the Vigoroth. And we're just going to go Sky Attack here, and our opponent no shields the Sky Attack. I guess they're saving their final shield for Vigoroth. Maybe they think they can land 2 Rock Slides, and I think our opponent could have thrown the aerial ace here, but I think they didn't because they want to farm down with Vigoroth so that they could potentially reach 2 Rock Slides. Okay, they go for the first Rock Slide, but we are going to be able to go for that Bravebird, and it is definitely going to KO this Vigoroth, and we take that win. Really well played. Moving on to the next match, it looks like we are going to be up against a Shadow Dragonite lead. One of my favorite leads, by the way. And our opponent safe swaps into a double. Okay, double is going to be a little bit more tricky for Decidueye because it might have access to Payback, but they go for a Body Slam, and we actually call that Body Slam. Really well played there, because I would have chickened out and probably shielded that, but there's a reason why these battles are in the 3100s, and I am stuck in the 2800s, so that says a lot. Okay, it looks like we are going to start shielding now, and they actually go for that Payback, and they've already used both shields on their double, and now we're just going to go for that Frenzy Plant before the double can reach another move. And oh boy, we all know it's coming. This Dragonite is going to take a Bravebird to the face, it KOs, and our opponent is going to have a Talonflame in the back. They couldn't have gotten more RPS there, but also if they had been able to flip the switch, maybe they would have had a chance there. Anyways, moving on to the next match, it looks like we are going to be up against a Vigoroth on the lead. This is going to be a little bit tough because Vigoroth actually performs pretty well against Skarmory. Now, do we save the Skarmory in case our opponent has a potential flyer in the back, or do we let it go? Okay, we go ahead and we shield, and then it looks like here we are going to go for a Brave Bird, probably to debuff ourselves so that our opponent can't get more farm, I guess, because we weren't going to be able to reach another move, so that makes sense. Okay, we're going to bring in Decidueye now against the Vigoroth, and we were probably going to go for a full farm down, but it looks like our opponent realized that and they swap into Steelix. We have, again, the Quagsire in the back, which is very derpy looking, but I love it. We're going to go for that Aqua Tail and absolutely wreck the Steelix. And we only took one Psychic Fangs, it looked like. We're going to be able to take the Steelix out, go for another Aqua Tail. They're still not bringing in whatever they have in the back. So we go for another Aqua Tail on the Vigoroth, and now it's going to be up to Decidueye with one shield left to take this win for us. We just need 2 Frenzy Plants, but it looks like we're not going to be able to make it there. So let's just see how much damage this Brave Bird does. I mean, it's pretty decent. It puts the Mantine into the red, but Mantine is super bulky. Unfortunately, we are going to take a loss there. All right, another Vigoroth lead. I actually hate this lead for Skarmory because Vigoroth is going to be doing neutral with the counters and with the rock slides. It's going to be a neutral matchup for both, but the counters are absolutely chunking and they're able to put us into the yellow. And our opponent is going to go ahead and shield the Sky Attacks, of course. I do expect us to invest the shield here like we did in the last game, and then it looks like we're going to go for that Sky Attack instead of the Brave Bird. And our opponent actually lets it go, so we do win the lead. But our opponent is going to have a Trevenant in the back, and the Trevenant is going to be doing super effective with those Shadow Claws, so very unfortunate for us. And of course, they are going to go ahead and shield up the Brave Bird, because I think even a Spirit Shackle would have taken this Trevenant out. And at this point, we just have a Quagsire left. So we should be able to make it to that Stone Edge, and it should be enough to KO, but let's just hope that Quagsire can take care of whatever our opponent has in the back. They are going to have another Grass type. Oh no, this is not good. It looks like we go for a catch, but our opponent also went for a catch, probably expecting us to throw that Stone Edge, and they are going to go for a Leaf Blade up against the Skarmory to take it out. We're going to be able to go for a Stone Edge. It is not going to be enough to take the bulky Tropius out. Unfortunately, we're going to take another loss there, but again, really well played. Anyways, moving on to the next match, we are going to be in the Skarmory mirror match. Okay, who wins CMP here? I don't know the IVs, by the way, so yeah, we don't CMP tie. It looks like we kept farming. Just gonna go for the Sky Attacks up against the Skarmory. We don't want to debuff ourselves yet. By the way, on a side note, I've started running Skarmory with Return, and I really like it. Okay, it looks like we do go for the Brave Bird here, and we debuff ourselves. That means our opponent is going to be able to take our Skarmory out now with their Brave Bird, and at least the Skarmory lived with 2 HP, and we were able to bring Decidueye in and farm it down. That way we have energy for whatever our opponent is going to bring in the back. They bring in a Clodsire, and they shield the first Frenzy Plant. Remember, Frenzy Plant is going to be doing neutral damage to Clodsire because of Clodsire's ground typing. Okay, they go ahead and they shield the second Frenzy Plant. This is telling me that whatever our opponent has in the back, it is going to be weak to grass types. Really nice catch on the Stone Edge on our own Quagsire, and our opponent is, as I called it, going to have a Mudboy in the back, which is going to be taking quadruple damage from the grass type moves. They're going to have their own Quagsire in the back. Just going to be going for these Aqua Tails up against the Quagsire, and I think we should put it in farm down range for Decidueye because we're going to have to take an Aqua Tail here. That's going to KO. And I don't think this Quagsire can get to a Stone Edge. We're just going to farm it down here. I hope this isn't a Stone Edge. I wasn't counting. I was too busy getting excited over that catch, that really impressive catch. But it looks like we are going to be able to make it to 2 Frenzy Plants and throw them back to back on the Clodsire, take the Clodsire out, and we're going to be able to take that win. Moving on to the next game, where are all these Vigoroth leads in the elo that I'm playing at? Because in the elo I'm playing at, I'm facing a bunch of Abomasnows, a bunch of Skarmories. I'm running Dragonite on the lead, by the way, so Vigoroth lead would be very nice for me. So we're gonna be up against this stupid dancing monkey, and I am sick and tired of seeing it, and I'm sure you guys are too, but it is just so good in this meta that it makes sense why everyone is using it. And it also makes sense why I'm starting to see a lot more double ghost backlines because, you know, ghost types are the only things that are going to wall this monkey, especially ghost and ground types. They went ahead and they double shielded their Vigoroth on the lead, which means we will be able to land a Brave Bird on whatever our opponent has at the back. He also makes another really nice catch on the Rock Slide on Quagsire, again making all these really cool plays, and our opponent is going to have a Mantine. We still don't know what the third Pokemon is, but we are going to be able to get the Mantine really low. We did go for the Aqua Tail on the next move, but it looks like he wants to let the Quagsire go, or we might have been able to Mudshot that Mantine down. But our opponent swaps into a Clodsire and they take an Aqua Tail, and now their Clodsire is going to be in the yellow, and it's looking really good for our Decidueye. We also have a shield left for Decidueye, so we can go ahead and shield whatever this is, and we're going to go for a full farm down on the Clodsire, and why not? We're just going to throw the Brave Bird on the 1 HP Mantine in the back and take it out. Okay, on the next lead, we're going to see a Shadow Gyarados. I was not expecting to see this until Master League Premier came back, but okay, very nice choice from our opponent. This is above 3,000 elo, so I'm not going to question their choices because they're clearly better than me. Or they could be running Spice because, you know, they already got to Legend, which I'm still trying to hit. Okay. It looks like our opponent is going to swap into a Charjabug. We are going to bring in the Quagsire against the Charjabug. Going to go for that Stone Edge, and hopefully our opponent lets it go. They don't. They go ahead and they shield. Of course, it makes sense, but that also means they use their final shield. I think we're going to go ahead and shield ourselves here because we have the Stone Edge ready and the Charjabug is still super healthy. So we should just be able to go for that Stone Edge here and take it out, and then go for an Aqua Tail on the Gyarados. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it to another Stone Edge for the Gyarados, but our opponent is going to have a Diggersby in the back, which is going to be taking super effective from the Frenzy Plants. Of course, unfortunately, we are going to be taking super effective from the Fire Punches. Really interesting team from our opponent, but we are going to be able to take the Gyarados out with another Frenzy Plant and take that win. Props to the opponent for using a really spicy team. Moving on to the next match, we are going to see that Shadow Dragonite on the lead, and they say swap into a Vigoroth. That means one of two things. They could have a Talonflame in the back, or they could have a Mantine in the back, or actually a third thing, they could have a Skarmory in the back because I've seen people run it with all three of those. We take Vigoroth out with Decidueye, and then our opponent is going to bring that Dragonite back in to farm us down, but we're able to hit a Frenzy Plant. It's not going to do that much damage, but for something that is quadruple resisted, that did way too much damage. I am a huge Dragonite fan, and I'm going to take whatever opportunity I have to complain about how squishy it is because for some reason I want it to be more OP than it already is. It looks like I'm going to be right. Our opponent is going to have one of those three flyers that I mentioned in the back. They are going to have a Skarmory. We're going to bring in Quagsire. We've seen so many Clodsires and Quagsires, it gets confusing. We're going to bring Quagsire and go for these Aqua Tails against the Skarmory. Of course, we're going to go ahead and shield here because we should be able to reach another Aqua Tail, and our opponent is going to bring the Dragonite in now against the Skarmory and go for a Dragon Claw, and it doesn't KO. We live, and we're also able to go for a Brave Bird on their Skarmory and take them out. GG's to the opponent, and a really nice win there. In the next game, we are going to see a really good lead of Altaria, and our opponent swaps into a Talonflame. Okay, so we're going to let the first fly go. I'm curious to see how this match goes. It does a lot of damage, but we are going to go ahead and throw an Aqua Tail on the Talonflame. Gonna go for another Aqua Tail, and let's see if our opponent decides to shield. They do. At this point, we are in Incinerate range, which is really tricky because this means our opponent will be able to take the Quagsire out with Talonflame, and they will be able to align their Altaria to our Decidueye. Okay, and they're also going to be able to reach a Flame Charge on Skarmory, and we let it go. That's very unfortunate, but our opponent is going to have a Minun in the back, and Decidueye should be resisting everything from Minun, but he goes ahead and he shields here. That's fine actually, because I don't think Decidueye would be able to live 2 moves from Minun. Again, it is very squishy, And I think 2 would have been enough to KO. Now he goes for the Frenzy Plant and he undercharges the Frenzy Plant. That way he has a lot of energy to throw at the Altaria. He's going to go immediately for the Brave Bird. And his switch timer is up. He's going to bring in Skarmory, and Skarmory actually makes it to a Brave Bird as well. And we take the Altaria out, and then we're able to Steel Wing the Talonflame down as well. I can't believe you won that. Amazing game. Really well played. I'm surprised you won that. Oh look, it's another monkey. Okay, it looks like we're switching up our strategy here. We go ahead and we shield the first Rock Slide on Skarmory. Gonna go for a Sky Attack up against the monkey. And of course, they shield their monkey because monkey is very strong. And we want to keep the monkey alive. As you can tell, I am going a little bit crazy because I keep seeing this monkey everywhere. We go for the Brave Bird and they let Vigoroth go, but oh no, our opponent is going to have an Abomasnow in the back. We have 2 things in the back that are going to be weak to Abomasnow. We just have to hope that we can go for an Aqua Tail and a Stone Edge. Gonna go for an Aqua Tail, of course, to take our opponent's final shield, and then the Stone Edge should be enough to KO the Abomasnow. If we can make it, we had it, but we don't throw it. And actually, in his email, he does tell me that he didn't realize he had the Stone Edge, so really unfortunate. That could have been a really interesting match. But that's going to be all the battles I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed those battles. I know I really did, and that is going to be the end of our video. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing, maybe leave a like, it helps me out so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!